There we go. Good morning, everybody, from the Frank Beck Chevrolet Studio Annex. This is Time Out Overtime on the Time Out Overtime YouTube channel. I'm Rick Arsenal. We got into the show just a few minutes last night, and due to some Wi-Fi issues, we lost our audio. We're going to try it again. I trust you're hearing me right now, loud and clear. Uh, Miggy, get in here. Okay, there we go. So let's do this. Michigan State Spartans are in LA, where they are getting ready to take on the Southern Cal Trojans this afternoon. And they will also be playing UCLA while they're out there. It's been unbelievable for Tom Izzo's team. I didn't see this coming. He just celebrated birthday number 70 a few days ago. Look, they're seventh ranked in the country right now, 18-2 overall, 9-0 in first place in the Big Ten. And I just didn't see this coming at all. It looks to me, does he have another Final Four team on his hands or possible national championship? We'll find out. Because admittedly, he said the schedule is going to be getting a lot tougher here in the next couple of weeks. I think they're the real deal from what I've seen so far. Let's hope they keep it going. So congratulations to them. Michigan Wolverines, a very disappointing loss last Friday night in Purdue. I did not see that coming at one point in the first half, that they were down by as many as 40 points. It wasn't good. They did come back this week with a last second win over Penn State on a 3-point shot. So they are 15-5 overall, 7-2 in the Big Ten, in third place behind the Spartans and Purdue. Purdue's good, but I didn't think they were as good as what we saw the other night. I can't explain what happened. I guess I said I didn't see that coming. But so anyway, the Wolverines are in New Jersey this afternoon. I think it's a 3:30 start to play Rutgers. Got a decent team. Won't be easy. And as I said, the Michigan State is in LA. I think it's about 4:00. Tip-off was at 4:00. They're playing Southern Cal out there. They're also going to stay out there and play UCLA too while they're out there. So, Pistons, nice win last night over Dallas. 15-point win over Dallas last night. And was it 117-102, I believe was the final score, led by Cade, all-star Cade Cunningham's 40 points. He simply took over last night, especially in that second half. I think he's really blossomed into what we thought he was going to be when the Pistons took him number one overall. And Bickerstaff has been a great coach so far for this team. Depending on what they do, I think he should be a coach of the year candidate. We'll see where that goes, but. So after 48 games, Pistons are 24-24. So let's see what they've got. 34 games left. Then ideally, if for Piston fans, the ideal situation, you want to make the playoffs, sure, but you want to avoid the play-in game. You want two things you want to avoid: the play-in game and playing either Boston or Cleveland in the first round. I don't know what it is. Can you imagine the Pistons and Pacers in a playoff series? You probably need extra security. I don't know what it is about these two teams, but they do not like one another. This is like the bad boys of the 80s playing the Celtics. Every game was a boxing match. I mean, just every game was a street fight. If you're old enough, remember that. But that's the way it was back in the 80s for the bad boys. Of course, they would win 2 championships in 89 and 90, back to back. Should have been 3, but we're not going to get into that now. As far as the Red Wings go, so they're out in the Canadian Rockies right now. They're a very impressive overtime shootout win the other night. Dylan Larkin scoring the game-winning goal over the very good Edmonton Oilers team. Wings now with 55 points. I believe they are 25, 21, and 5. And they are taking on Calgary, the Flames tonight in Alberta. And I'm not sure. I think it's a 10 o'clock start. Uh, they're just 3 points out of third. They're tied for sixth, I believe, with Montreal, but they're just 3 points out of third. There's not much disparity in that Atlantic Division between 3 and 7. Okay. And under Todd McClellan, I had it written down. Yes, they are 12-4-1 since Todd McClellan took over. And as I've said often times before, you have to wonder where they would be right now. They've got 55 points. If McClellan had been here to start the season, as he should have been, they got 55. You'd like to think they'd have at least 60 points right now. If that was the case, they would be in third place right now in that Atlantic Division. So, again, if you're a Red Wing fan, yeah, you want to make the playoffs, but you don't want to be a wild card team. That would be the ideal scenario. So after 52 games, they look like a legitimate playoff team. Defensively, they're much better. Marco Kasper, kid's only 20 years old. Since McClellan put him on that number one line, he's flourished. I think he's got 7 or 8 goals right now. He's got a good shot at 20, but it looks like another Stevie Yzerman. I don't know if you call it a diamond in the rough or not, but they've got some budding superstars on that team, especially on defense. So the future looks bright for I think both the Red Wings and the Pistons. As far as baseball goes, we talked about a little bit on the show this morning with Andy. Jim Bowden, the former general manager of Cincinnati Reds, said the other day on MLB radio he thought the Tigers had the best offer on the table right now for Alex Bregman. But he said then he added Bregman may not necessarily want to come here. I don't believe that. If that were indeed factual, you would think A.J. Hinch and Scott Harris would already know that and know that they're wasting their time even trying to sign him. I don't believe that for a minute. I've got a lot of respect for Bowden, but gosh, I really find that hard to believe that given the connections and the relationship that Alex Bregman has with A.J. Hinch, one would think it just makes sense that if he did not want to come here, didn't want to play here, A.J. Hinch would already know that, as would Scott Harris. By the way, Scott Harris says they're not done yet. Almost like he knows something that we don't. So we'll see where that goes. They did just sign, I mentioned it the other day, a change-up specialist was part of a good Yankee bullpen last year, Tommy Kahnle, Kahnle. I believe that's how he pronounces it. But by the way, it was noted too that when the Astros traded Jim Presley to the Cubs, they gave him a choice of where he wanted to go. You could either go to the Cubs or the Tigers. He didn't want to go to the Tigers. So he could have very easily been a Tiger too, had he wanted to be. I don't know if you find that a little disconcerting or not. I wouldn't. Some people may, but hey, he wanted to play for the Cubs instead of the Tigers. All right, that's his choice. You don't want anybody here if they don't want to be here. No. Spring training is about to commence. It is February 12th. So what's 11 days away? The first Tiger spring training game 3 weeks from today in Lakeland against the Phillies. It'll be good to hear Dan Dickerson again calling balls and strikes. So baseball in the air. The days are getting longer. And we haven't had too much significant snow so far. I know we got a long way to go yet. Groundhog Day is tomorrow. We'll see what We'll see what Punxsutawney Phil has to say about all this. So let's do this commercial in here for our great folks at Frank Beck Chevrolet before we close out with the little Lions news, comings and goings on the coaching staff carousel with the Lions. You know, Frank Beck Chevrolet is thanking all their loyal Chevy owners with big savings during Chevy Loyalty Month, which is now through March the 3rd. Loyal Chevy owners can save an extra $1,000 on brand new 2025 Blazers, Colorados, Trailblazers, and Silverado HD models, plus 1.9% financing available on all select models. Beck's also has a great selection of late model pre-owned vehicles at fantastic prices. You check out their inventory on their webpage at frankbeckchevy.com or stop by the dealership and talk to one of the salesmen. Tell stop by the dealership on M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville. Now, go to your calendar, put it on your phone. I want you to circle Saturday, April the 12th for Beck's annual Maggie Fry Scholarship Breakfast. This year's event will be run from 8 to 11 a.m. right in the showroom. And we'll feature the timeout crew. As I read this, Andy and yours truly will be doing a show out there from the showroom. Saturday morning, April 12th. So that's a very important date coming up. I'm giving you enough notice ahead of time. So you clear your events or whatever. Make sure you're not doing anything else on Saturday, April the 12th, because we look forward to seeing everybody out there from 8 to 11 for what is a great fundraising event out at Beck Chevrolet. So one more time, Saturday, April the 12th. By the way, Bob Flynn also wanted me to remind you that the Beckathon has been extended. Beckathon has been extended. What is Beckathon if you don't know by now? During the month of January, and even now, into now, you get an extra $1,000 dealer cash on all remaining new 2024 models in stock. And you get extra $3,000 dealer cash on all select used vehicles in stock. So that has been extended. So if you haven't done so yet, get out there now and take advantage of that. Okay. I think we got everything here. One more time, Saturday, April the 12th, Frank Beck Chevrolet showroom breakfast, 8 to 11 for the Maggie Fry scholarship breakfast. So I will keep pondering that into your head until the date comes up, but very important day. Make sure you clear your calendar and you're not doing anything else. You have nothing more that conflicts with that day because we want to see you out there. We'll be doing our show out there that morning. Frank Beck Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Chevy Drive, Southern Michigan. Frank Beck Chevrolet is the #1 Chevrolet dealer in the tri-state area. Lions, quickly. News. A couple of new coaches. New offensive coordinator, John Morton. Not the former wide receiver, Johnny Morton. No, this is John Morton. And was on the staff in 2022. Last couple of years, he's been with the Broncos. So he is the Lions' new offensive coordinator, John Morton. John Gruden said the Lions should be toasting champagne because they brought him in now. That's how highly John Gruden thinks of John Morton. And then yesterday they announced former Stanford head coach David Shaw was being brought in to be their passing game coordinator. Tom Pelissero from the NFL Network was the one that broke this news, and he said this is a great hire for Dan Campbell. So the Lions have hit a home run with this. So as I pointed out this morning on our show with Andy, as good as the offense was this year, it could be even better next year. Of course, we don't know what they're going to do in free agency, the draft yet. But speaking of the draft, I'm leaving one more thing here before we get out of here. 3 different people from the NFL Network have recently done mock drafts, and they all have the Lions taking the same player with the 28th pick in the first round. That would be edge Mike Green from Marshall, who really was kind of flying under the radar until last week. He just stood out at the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. He had a really good week. Had 17 sacks this past season for Marshall. The only knock on him is he's 6'4" and 250. You'd kind of like to see, hopefully, get in the weight room. Look, this is merely a conjecture. That's all a mock draft is. But he really stood out this week. He had a great week at the Senior Bowl. But he's 6'4" and 250, and I think that might be hedging it a little bit. But you'd like to see him gain 10 to 15 pounds. Ideally, I think to 6'4", maybe 260, 265. Maybe get in the weight room. If indeed the Lions were to draft him, they could put a few pounds on him. But hey, he had 17 sacks last year, playing for Marshall. Of course, that's a Mid-America team, but I don't think it matters much. But anyway, is that about it? Again, I apologize for the technical glitch last night. Hopefully, you heard me loud and clear today. It is a busy day for me. I got some other things to do. I got to get out of here, but I couldn't. I didn't want to leave you with what happened last night. I felt again. I apologize for that. I get really disgusted when that happens. I think it was some kind of a Wi-Fi glitch. Whatever. We'll talk to you again on Monday night. And of course, don't forget, thanks for listening every Saturday morning with Andy and I on Timeout here locally at WCSR 92.1 FM. I'll talk to you all again on Monday night. So until then, happy Groundhog Day. Thanks so much for listening. Remember to treat each other with respect. Have a good rest of your weekend. And so long, everybody.